Pixel 3a has arrived. So today we're gonna do a day in the life video. I'm gonna go about my normal day, get some work done, take photos on this phone as well as a few other devices that I happen to have so we can do some comparisons. And then throughout the day I'll also check the battery life as we go and just kind of see how it's holding up. Now I've been sitting here in this coffee shop for a while, answering comments on the website, checking my email, doing my normal work morning thing. And it is now about 11:30 a.m. The phone came off the charger at 9 a.m. So in that 2.5 hours, we are now at 85%. So real quick, let's talk about the differences between this and the Pixel 3 and kind of what this phone is all about. So first off, there's a lot of little differences which I'll get into in my complete walkthrough, which I'll do that video later. But first, there are a few bigger differences and similarities that we need to talk about. First similarity being the one that everybody's talking about, which is the fact that the camera on the back is identical to the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL, which has been praised over and over again. This has that same camera. It does have a slightly less powerful processor. Instead of the Snapdragon 845, it has the Snapdragon 670, which has a less powerful GPU, less cores, blah, 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 blah. Also, we've lost things like Qi wireless charging because the back is now plastic instead of glass. But the real big difference here, and the thing that kind of makes this interesting for me to talk about, is the fact that this Pixel 3a, the baby to the Pixel 3a XL, costs $399. So then the question becomes, is the rest of the experience up to speed? Yeah, I did get another coffee. It's an addiction. I don't know. Okay, still at the office. It's just one of those days, just a lot of work to do. But I want to talk really quick about like kind of the look and feel of the 3A versus the 3. Now there's no other way to put this. The 3A is half the price of the 3, and even less than half because, well, this is a 3 XL. But the normal 3 is $800, the 3A is $400. And since it has the same camera as I mentioned, that's kind of the biggest feature and one of the main features that I care about with the Pixel 3. So I'm trying to figure out like where are the shortcomings, right? Like what did they sacrifice in order to get that price? Now, even though it is plastic, which is one of the sacrifices they made, it is this like soft touch plastic with a little gloss at the top that very much mimics the glass back here that's also soft touch with the glass at the top that's glossy. They even kind of feel similar. Like you can tell this is not quite as nice as this, but if I didn't give you this and you were holding both of them at the same time, you probably wouldn't be able to tell looking at them or touching them that this is a cheaper material than this. The one downside about that though is that of course it doesn't have Qi charging, which I kind of wish it would, but for half the price. Okay, what about like the design language in general, right? Like, are there sacrifices there? Does it not have as good of bezels, etc.? No, it's the same. Google kind of has this thing where they either want a giant notch or they want giant bezels. And that's even on their high-end $800 phones. It's the same here on the cheaper versions, right? We have these large bezels at the top and bottom, but they're very similar to the Pixel 3, for example. So the next thing I was curious about was performance. It is a lower end processor, but unless you're gaming, I'm not so sure there's gonna be much of a difference. With that said, here are benchmarks on both of them using 3D Mark so you can see the difference there. And then here's me just kind of messing around with the screen. You can tell that there's no real difference in lag as far as doing normal everyday things. There might be a slight difference, but it's not that noticeable. Okay, and after that benchmark and again, using the phone as I normally would all throughout my day, WhatsApp, messaging, emails, using Chrome, etc., etc., etc. Just because I don't show it here, by the way, doesn't mean that I didn't use it. It's just boring for me to show you all that. Anyway, it is 5:08 p.m. We are at 37%. Had a lovely dinner with my friend, took some nighttime shots, as you saw, And now I think I'm gonna take a couple more on the way home, but really quick, let's check in on the battery. It is 9:35 p.m. and we're already at 13%. Back home, it is now 10 p.m., well, 10:11, and we are at 8%. The interesting thing about this phone then, to me, is that, you know, they've definitely cut corners to make it cheaper. No Qi charging, it's plastic, although it still feels very similar. The slower processor, etc. But honestly, like, for games, that slower processor, like, this is not gonna do as well by any means as the real Pixel, or the Pixel 3. But in every other aspect, this feels like it competes with it, which is insane for half the cost. So I'm a little confused by this device because honestly, as it stands right now, at least with my limited testing of the device, it feels like it has all of the good things about the Pixel 3, the Pixel 3 XL, and also some of the bad things like the battery and the design, etc. But the difference is I am way more forgiving of the downsides and way more impressed with the upsides when the phone costs half of what it normally does. And so, honestly, I'm having a hard time trying to imagine a scenario where I would tell somebody else to get the Pixel 3 or the 3 XL over the 3A or the 3A XL. The only time I would do that is if you really wanted to game. And that blows my mind. There guys, let me know what you think in the comments below of the video of the new phone. Gonna be doing a complete walkthrough, so subscribe to the channel and ding the bell next door to subscribe so you get notified when that goes live. Otherwise though, if you enjoyed this, please thumbs up it or share it, greatly appreciated. And head to the link below to subscribe to my weekly newsletter. You'll get all of the videos that I do here every Sunday, along with some tips, tricks, and tech news that doesn't necessarily make it here to video. Appreciate that as well. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.